So, Tamara Judge, you actually think an overnight trip to Temecula is supposed to erase the years of bullshit that you've bestowed upon your fellow castmates? That's how I know you crazy, because you actually think this will work.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
Okay. Welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. Okay, the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19, episode 10. I'm about 3 days late with this review, but I had shit I had to do. Anyway, so this episode was interesting. Um, First of all, Katie wasn't in this episode at all. I thought that was not okay and totally insane. She's on the show. She should have been here. My thing is, y'all are fooling with Tamara, but y'all are mad at Katie. Okay. Anyway, so this whole episode is basically about this trip to Temecula. So we open with Emily and Tamara. I forget where they're meeting in some store, and Tamara has invited Jen, Gina, and Shannon to Temecula for an overnight trip. She wants to try to mend her situation with the other ladies, those women in particular. I was confused as to why Gina was there. I thought her and Gina were cool. But she even said that Gina, you know what? I'm sorry. Gina ended up was supposed to be like a mediator or whatever. So while they're meeting across town, Shannon, Gina, and Jen are meeting up to talk about Tamara inviting them out. Shannon's the only smart one here. Shannon is still cautious about Tamara. She's like, I've gone down this road a million times. She's even cautious about going on the trip. So before they meet, they actually show Tamara FaceTiming Shannon. Shannon's at this like clinic getting Botox with her daughter, and Shannon calls her and or not Shannon. Tamara she calls Shannon, FaceTimes her. Shannon was a little disheveled because she I think she had just gotten a massage or a facial or something like that. So and there's a reason that I'm saying that. So Tamara and Emily are talking about them meeting up, and Emily's kind of making fun of the fact that Tamara invited them, and of course they're nervous about Shannon. Well, Tamara's nervous about Shannon. So Tamara, in true fucking Tamara form, starts talking shit. What does she do? Well, I am nervous about Shannon. You're nervous about Shannon because Shannon is finally hip to your bullshit. Shannon's not doing, she got off the ride. She got off the ride of bullshit with you. So she's like, yeah, I called Shannon and she just seemed really disheveled. You just talking shit still. You can't help yourself, Tamara. She's talking shit about Shannon's appearance when she FaceTime her. And Shannon told her, I'm at this clinic. I just got a facial. My daughter's in the back getting Botox. Like, okay. But Tamara's hoping that she can mend ways with them. But this is what kills me. She keeps saying the issue with Shannon is Shannon well, Shannon she holds grudges. That appears to be her go-to is, oh, well, Shannon just holds grudges. Maybe it's the fact that you've said horrible shit to her when you get mad is the reason that she's cautious about jumping into a friendship with you. She's done it many times over these past 10 years, and you've proven to her every time why she should stop fucking with your ass. And it's funny because Jen, you're not as smart as you want people to think you are, because the fact that you're even entertaining Tamara as well is kind of crazy. And Shannon actually says that in her confessional. Like, I don't know why she's so quick to be cool with her again, but it is what it is. So Shannon with the other ladies is talking about how cautious she is. And she says she was telling her therapist that about going on this trip and how she felt. And then Gina interrupts her and is like, well, we'll be there and you can hang out with us. And then Shannon's like, that's what I was thinking. Like, but you guys will be there. So Shannon agrees to go. Shannon, you're better than me. I wouldn't have went. I would not have gone. No way. So after that, Jen and Emily meet up at this animal rescue situation. That was funny. They were cleaning up the kitties. The kitten. I'm a cat person. I love cat. I love all animals, but I love cats. I got my Harriet right here and my Georgie down there. I love kitties. I love the kitties. Anyway, another scene pretty much talking about the same shit. This trip. to Temecula overnight with Tamara. Jen is a little cautious too, but she's trying to be more optimistic. Um, Her main thing, which she relays to Tamara earlier, is Jen still feels some type of way about this picture that Tamara is showing everyone. So we learned that Heather brought back the story a little extra. So Tamara's like, I never said it was a fat photo. I was just comparing it to saying that she's changed a lot. We all know that you were comparing her to you, trying to say she looked like you. And what's funny is later on, Heather kind of clears it up. Heather called her heavier. That's funny. If Jen was heavy in that photo, I must be a fucking obese ass bitch then. Because I'm way bigger than that. I got hips and thighs. Heather, you brought it back. You pulled a Julia. You brought the shit back wrong. You put 20 on 10 and you didn't need to. Um, so I like that Tamara's like, I definitely have to clear that up. You were being nasty and shady, but I'm glad that she cleared that up. She does clear it up later. Whether Jen accepts the clearing up is a whole other issue. Um, so anyway, Jen and Emily, they kind of wrap up their scene. We talk about it. That's the end of it. Um, Later on, Heather and Emily have a little FaceTime conversation. It's funny how each scene in this episode was basically, it just seemed like every scene was discussing this lead up to this overnight trip. So the ladies that aren't going on the trip, Heather, Emily, Gretchen, Heather invites them for a overnight sleepover at this hotel. That shit was lit. Very nice. Um, Very interesting scene. But we dive a little bit into this episode with Emily and her husband and still parenting their son Luke. Um, it's funny. I'm more Shane when it comes to this stuff. I don't believe in babying kids to the point that they're coddled and can't do shit for themselves. I've seen enough body cam footage to know there's a lot of pampered princes and princesses walking around who ain't never been told no in their life. Um, so it's interesting because Emily is a little more nurturing, borderline coddling with her son, and Shane is not. Interesting parenting styles, very polar opposites of the spectrum. But I got to tell you, I don't have kids, but I appreciate watching this on TV. I actually find it fascinating. Um, I think if you have a kid that's different, you need to not treat them like they're any different. And it just seems like in this situation, Emily is treating her son a little bit differently, and the other kids are noticing. They talk about it. As small as this scene was, it's an important scene that I think should be discussed. It's an important scene. Um, but anyway, we go right back into the Gina, Tamra, Shannon, Jen of it all because Gina is getting ready for this overnight trip as well. She's talking to Travis about it. Travis had me dying. Travis is funny because he knows all her friends because even he made a comment about Shannon. He was surprised that Shannon was going on the trip. I think Shannon, I think the reason you're doing is because you're on a TV show, but it's obvious you don't want to be there. You didn't want to be there. She wasn't trying to be there. So anyway, the other ladies, they're all getting ready to go part ways and go on these trips. Shannon actually pulls up to Gina's house because they're all meeting Tamra and Jen there. They all meet, they ride off. The other ladies end up going to the hotel to meet with Heather for this sleep. So we're on our way. So Tamra drives her group, Gina, Jen, and Shannon. They're off to Temecula. Heather, Emily, and Gretchen, they're off to LA for their sleepover at the hotel. The hotel was really nice. They have a few drinks in the room and then they leave to go have dinner. So they go over there by Rodeo Drive. They're walking around because they're going to do a little bit of shopping and eat. They're walking and they run into who? Paparazzi. So they walk over, they run into the paparazzi. Why the paparazzi chick walk up to them talking about, she never called us? We can say that was a live shot. She never called any of us. Heather Dubrow, girl, stop. You need to stop. Emily, her confessional goes, well, isn't that ironic that we're walking out and we run into paparazzi who confirmed that Heather didn't call the paparazzi on her and Terry the year before? Heather This is why we love you, because of dumbass shit like this. Girl, bye. Anyway, I love that she failed the lie detector test, or they said it was inconclusive, and she hanging on to it. You're hanging on to it, whatever. That was insane. So they go to dinner. Meanwhile, the other ladies have settled into their spots. Tamara gives Shannon the biggest room. Shannon is feeling some type of way because she's like, I don't like that I don't need the best room. Tamara is Tamara, you're going about this the wrong way. You did some terrible shit. You've said some terrible things, and you think an overnight stay and she got the presidential suite with the biggest piece of chicken, and all of a sudden she's just gonna be cool with you. Okay, girl. So they're outside eating their dinner, and Tamra is obviously in a great mood. Here's the thing about Tamra. Again, I'm gonna defend this crazy woman. I'm gonna defend her for a minute. Here's what I realized. Tamra has the emotional capacity of a teenager, and it seems like it's never gonna really go beyond that. I think that she will get better with therapy, but I think with her, accountability is going to be the main factor. And she doesn't seem to really have a full grasp of it yet. The fact that you're saying Shannon's just holding on to a grudge is crazy to me. The fact that you don't understand how much you've hurt her is wild. It's problematic, actually. But in her mind, in her warped, underdeveloped ass mind, she thinks that taking them on an overnight trip, giving somebody a great room, feeding them and whining and dining them. What's the name of the episode? Wine and Champagne, wine with an H. That all of a sudden you're absolved of all your past sins. You're not. That's the stuff that you've done to Shannon specifically. Maybe not Jen, but the shits Shannon specifically. That's gonna take a lot of work. Tamara, it's gonna take a lot more. I mean, you have a lot of atonement. You have a lot of atoning that you need to do, like a whole lot. So anyway, Heather and them, they're eating their dinner and they start talking about Tamara. And Emily says, when I met up with Jen thinks that you're scared of Tamara. That's why you don't go up against her because you're afraid of the backlash from her. And so Heather's like, what did you say when she said that? And Emily's like, I don't know, but I kind of agree with her. So they flash back, and of course Emily's like, well, yeah, she's scared of her because she doesn't want to deal with Tamara's mouth, in so many words. I somewhat agree with that. So Heather says that's bullshit. She says that what Jen said is bullshit. She's like, when we came back from New Orleans, I sat down with her to tell her I felt thrown away. They flash back to that scene. I think in that scene, Heather was not going to get anywhere in that conversation because you have to remember that Gretchen, child, I'm getting everybody's names mixed up. Tamara was very vulnerable and upset over everything that happened because she didn't get her way. She got in her head, she got ran out of there. I mean, technically she did, but nobody told you to run. You just can't take the heat. You This is what happens when you have no accountability. When you just talk shit and make salacious fucking comments about people and then you don't stand in it or sit with it, and then when you get confronted about it, you bitch up and run. That's what happens. Now Heather, I don't think Heather is scared of Tamara by any means. I don't think she's scared of her. I think Heather doesn't want to deal with her mouth because who wants to deal with that? Tamara's ignorant. You ever argue with somebody who's ignorant? You might as well argue with the wall. You might get more out of the wall. I mean, she's been this way her entire time on TV. This is who she is. This shit's not changing. It would take something very dramatic for her to really change her behavior because this is the most repeated behavior. She stays cool for a little bit and then she goes right back to who she is. This is who she is. I said this a while ago. I'll say it again. Let's start normalizing accepting people for who they are, and then you decide how you're going to move accordingly. Am I going to deal with this bullshit or am I going to get it out of my life? So anyway, but Heather's like, I'm not scared of her. But what's funny, Heather had a great point though in her confessional. She was like, I'm tired of this narrative that I'm afraid of Tamara. I was the only one that said something to her that was upset with her after New Orleans. Nobody else said shit. And she's right. And she goes, they all saw her and it's, oh, I'm sorry I didn't call you. She's right. She's right. So anyway, the other group of ladies, Tamara, Shannon, Jen, and Gina, they're all sitting down eating in front of this. They're at this vineyard. And Tamara just ruins it. She's So Tamara's overzealous ass goes, Shannon, you like me now? You like me? And Shannon's like, Shannon, I mean, it's okay. It's fine. She's uncomfortable because if I have an issue with a bitch, number one, I'm not going overnight with a bitch I don't like. I'm not. But for the sake of this TV show, we're going to roll with it. Shannon, I think, did as best as she could. She tried to keep it in, keep it together. But she was like, in her head, she's just like, okay. So they end up splitting up. Jen and Shannon are walking through like the vineyard. This was hilarious because Shannon had the wrong shoes on and her heels kept going in the holes and she kept falling. That shit was funny. So her and Jen actually start talking and she's just like, she said the realest shit. She's like, I don't know how to take her saying that to me. It makes me uncomfortable and I don't know where to go with it. And she's right. This girl talking about you like me now. What? Even Gina was like to Tamara in her confessional was like, okay, girl. Tamara's over there talking to Gina and Tamara, she keeps imitating Shannon because she knows Shannon is not totally on board with her. And you could tell she doesn't like it. And it's funny. This is how you know she's a mess. It doesn't even compute to her Shannon's feelings. Her response to Gina is she holds grudges. It's never what you do. She holds grudges. And then she's like, well, I think Jen is coming around. So then Gina goes, well, she did bring up the other day about you showing the fat picture. And Tamara's like, oh my God. So this is in the scene where Tamara learns that Heather brought back that information about the picture wrong. Heather was the one, I'd said this earlier, that it emphasized Jen being heavy when Tamara was just being shady. Thankfully, Tamara admitted to that. She tells Gina that, well, yeah, I was being a little bit shady. And then she admits that she didn't even look good in the picture. Girl, you did not with that shiny yellow shirt on. A shiny yellow halter top. You look like you was auditioning for the Flavor of Love. Everybody dresses like they shop at Express in the early 2000s. Anyway, so we go to the later dinner, and this is when the bullshit. So Jen takes the opportunity and calls out Tamara over this photo. Um, Tamara says she apologizes. She says, I was being shady. I should have never shown the photo, but I definitely was not talking about your weight. I just feel like you've changed, like you're different. In Jen's confessional, she says, I was different. I was in a marriage where I was lonely. I ate a lot and food. We all know this. I've struggled with weight my whole life. I totally get it. You eat, you feed your feelings. You're feeding your feelings. It makes you, it fills some ridiculous void, a temporary fill, but it does. So she's like, I didn't feel good about myself. So then Tamara's asked, well, then you got with Ryan and you just totally changed. In her confessional, she's like, now she's wearing her tits are always out and she's really skinny. I had heard that Ryan likes basically toothpicks with boobs, something like that. Why does that matter to you? Why does Jen getting more self-esteem, changing how she looked matters to you? If Jen wanted to fucking change her whole face, her hair, everything, what does any of that have to do with you, Tamara Judge? That's because you're a fucking hater. Tamara, you're a hater and you're unhappy and you're insecure. And Jen pointed that shit out in her confessional. You're insecure. So Jen's like, let me see this picture. So they show the picture. And Gina's like, both of y'all, like, nobody looked good in the picture. They didn't. Nobody looked good in the picture. So they put it back. She apologizes again. Tamara apologizes again. And Jen ain't done. Jen's like, why do you do that? Like, why do you go so low? Like, what was the point of that? Tamara gives some little nonsense, and that's when Shannon gets activated. Shannon jumps in and she goes, that's the problem, though. You have no accountability. You are so low with it. Because right before Shannon jumps in, Jen is just like, if my daughter did that at 14, I'd be like, you're a little bitch. So then of course, Tamara, because she's an idiot, because with that emotional capacity, y'all, teenager, she starts getting annoyed. She's like, I don't understand. Like, what do you want? What do you want? My flesh? Yes, bitch, I want a pound of flesh. I want a pound of fucking flesh. If it takes a pound of flesh for you to shut the fuck up, then let's do it. Let's do it. So that's when Shannon gets super activated and she's like, you have no accountability. This is what you do. You go so low when you're mad. No one else does it. I don't do it. Jen doesn't do it. Gina don't do it. You do it. So then Tamara's trying to argue with her. And Tamara, of course, goes, well, you just say it behind everyone's back. There you go, deflecting again. So the reality, just so you know, when people deflect like that, you confirm what the other person is saying by deflecting. That's my logic. That's the logic that I'm gonna apply. Tamara tries to bring up the fact that her and Shannon had been friends for 10 years. And Shannon's like, but all you did was talk about me. You said that I sucked the life out of you. And then Tamara says, you do. Well, then why the fuck are you trying to be friends with her then? If she sucks the life out of you anytime you guys have friends or hang out or talk, then what was the point of this overnight trip? What's the point of any of this shit? It's because you're fake as fuck. You can't handle when somebody don't like you because you're an insecure ass bitch. And you know what? Good for you, Shannon, for standing up to her. Because Shannon was like, we've never really been friends because look how you talk about me. You talk about me, Tamara. I was with you through your divorce, blah, blah, blah. And then Shannon goes, what am I supposed to do with any of this? I went through one of the hardest times last year. You're over here calling me a drunk, a see you next Tuesday, and everything else. So then Tamara goes, it's just that when you get drunk, you say really terrible things about people. I mean, even Gina said she's a little concerned. And then Shannon's like, oh, okay. And then Gina's like, well, I am. The episode kind of ends there. Tamara talking about she was hurt last year. No one cares that you're hurt. Because when you're hurt, you hurt other people. And I'm so tired of that. I was hurt. I have childhood trauma. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. I'm so sick of that. Tamara, you're a mess. And you know what's funny? All you ladies as a collective ain't shit. Because the fact that Katie's not here, it's really lame. Anyway, it's Sunday, you guys. I know it's football day. Happy football. I don't watch football. I don't know what's going on, but go Hawks, whoever they are. Anyway, happy Sunday. I hope you guys have a great week coming up. These housewives of Orange County, y'all. Tamra Judge, Tamra. Anyway, be nice to each other. Stay hydrated. Let me get out of here and go return these videotapes.